So I want to give a little update on my canoe here since the last video I put out for it and what I've done to it. And so I'm going to start here at the beginning. I did add my own mount here, here, and here. Okay, these are my own, these aren't bought, these are 3D printed. And for this video I'm going to put those files out there for anybody who wants to make their own. And for the front seat here, when I take somebody with me, you may notice this here. This is a mount that I made for it. So I can actually take this backrest and put it here. And then they'll be facing me towards the rear or towards the center pad here, whereas where they will be playing with when they're fishing. So I'm going to show here how I do this. Let's see how this works out with one hand. So this will mount right here. Let's see here. It's a tight fit. There we go. Then I have the stops that I made here, and these are riveted in place. I will also put those files, but it goes on the same way as the original mount. There we go. And it works really well. I do have it set up to screw it down, but not yet. Right now it's just got Velcro, heavy duty Velcro on there. Just in case you wanted to sit the other way and just remove it, you can just do that. Alright, but this works really well. It's really tight. Then I went ahead and added more accessory mounts right here on each side. And if you'll notice here, I removed the center bench seat. That way I can put my batteries, whatever, tackle here. It just gives more space. I really didn't need it, having this platform here. Alright. Then as you can see here, I added 2 of these 3-mount Scotty accessory, and also the pedestals on each side. And then these are my own custom mounts, and I'll put the video here on how I made these if anybody wants to make their own. But basically I got this canoe set up to go crappie fishing, so crappie rods will go here. Just put it in any direction I want. Okay, and you can put up to 6. Now you can see there I'm using a 360 camera. I really liked the way they work, and it works a whole lot better for me. Not have to worry about losing any type of footage or direction that I'm at. So I'm gonna show some footage on that, on how I could just place it in any direction I want. As you can see here, I can put it that way. I can put it towards the center. I mean, I can just move it wherever I want, and it's always going to get whatever view I need. Back here, nothing else much has changed. I did add 2 more rail mounts there. Okay, so I usually put my fish finder there, batteries down here. Of course, my fish finder can go anywhere I want where the Scotty is concerned, and I'll show how that's mounted here right now. So here's my Striker 4 mounted on this rail slide here, and of course I can always change it up. I can always take it off, put my rod mount, get it out of here, just put it here if I want, and then this one can just go here. My battery usually runs right down here, so it's just a matter of how I want to configure it that day. That's how easy that goes together. And I'll show a little bit on the connection mount for my little camera deal there. So my camera mount is just a collection of PVC tubing, dog bone there. This lower one here is 3D printed. The rest is store-bought. This is my custom mount that clips onto the PVC to hold my solar battery for the camera. And then this end here is a Scotty mount of my own design that I use. It's the same setup that I'm going to show on how I made for these mounts here. But that's basically the same you see here. Okay, so it's very easy, and this just, you know, rotates no problem. And I'll kind of show how the rods go together here when I have it all together. So when I take the kids out with me fishing, I love using these Black Widow fishing rods for crappie. And very easy setup. Just put them in the rod holder as we move around on the water. They just do their thing. Let me get around to the other side. See if I can even put them in here. Let me see. Yeah, there goes that one. And then this one. And that's it. As you can see there, the kids on this side can easily get to what they need to there, and of course I can get to mine, no problem. As far as the coolers, the way I use them is, one is to hold whatever we catch, and the other side is just for tackle or whatever drinks, food that we want. And everything else can go under here that we need that won't fit in either one of these two. Alright, and then here, I don't like to have to go back to the vehicle to drop off the cart that I used to pull this, and you've seen the cart before on my other video, but now that I've turned this around, this can become a spot just to hold things, and it's in specifically my kayak cart will go in here. Then I just secure it here, because you never know. But that's about it. Getting ready to go back out on the water, take my granddaughter, so I thought I'd give a quick little update on the canoe and what I've done to it since the last video. So I forgot to mention that the obvious, I also added anti-fatigue mats inside here between these rails. Of course you can run it across as one piece if you want, but this anti-fatigue mat I got at Harbor Freight, the long one, and I'll post that in the, I'll link that in the description, and I cut it into strips. This helps with sound deadening as you're sitting in here and moving around. The other thing that I did, and I have a separate video on that, but I'll just mention it again here, is the drain plug. I added one there. And this aids in draining out when you get full of water in here. Sometimes it happens. Also, I did add an accessory rail mount back here, a small one, and this is just simply a 1/4 inch, 1/4 screw eye with a nut on top and a 1/2 inch wide by 1/8 inch aluminum rail that I tapped. But it just goes in here, and this is where I hook my my anchor trolley right here. Just let it hang off the side, and I lay it in here. I used to keep my battery here, no longer, because too much weight in the back when I'm running the trolley motor. So now I just keep the battery up in the front, better weight distribution. It just works out a whole lot better. And then I can just store whatever else back here that I want, like my net or whatever, and it's easy access for me. Also, before I forget, I wanted to say I did update these clips for the PVC mount here. The old ones, for some reason, they were like a bit too thin, not very stout, and sometimes would crack. I have had absolutely no failures with this one. They're good and stout, and I'll be supplying the files for these, as well as these mounts for anybody who wants to follow along and also make their own. I've had no failures with this setup. I really love it, and I think those that decide to do this will also love it as well. Also, since I did remove the center seat, when I do put this away, that I take it off, I did make some bracing to go across each of these mounts, and that's strictly to keep the integrity of the hull in place, because of the Florida heat here is a bit much, and I don't want this to deform now that the seat is no longer there. So when these are off, I'm going to show the braces that I put on. Okay, so for storage purposes, this is 3/4 by 1.5 inch treated lumber, and I use just regular toilet bolts, T-bolts, with my own 3D printed knobs for the nuts. Okay, they just strictly go in just like you would have if you're putting in the cooler mount. Okay, just get it started in there. Then get this one. Then tighten it down, and then you're good to go as far as storage. But now also, I would recommend, if you don't want to use the cooler mount and you just want to use the canoe in the traditional manner that it was intended, without having that center seat, I would use these in there just to preserve the strength and integrity of the gunnels here, and you should have no issues at all. This works out really, really well. I like it. Alright guys, hope you enjoy this. Later. Alright, to assemble this little crappie panfish rod holder setup here is very simple. You just need an Ozark Trails clamp-on rod holder. These are real cheap. You can get these at Walmart. And you'll need this 3D printed piece that I came up with. Okay. And you'll need a 3-inch long stainless steel carriage bolt. Alright. So let's go ahead and unpack this. We won't be needing this part of it here, so we're just going to disassemble this here real quick. Okay, so that's all you need. This, the washer. We'll be using this little wing nut and this piece. So now let's go ahead and break this off from here. All right, that's it. Okay, so basically you're going to take this cap and you're going to mount it on here. It's going to be a tight fit. Alright, just like that. Then you're going to take your bolt and mount it in from the bottom. Okay. Now, to set this in, we're going to go ahead and mount this like this to press fit it before we assemble it. And then you can see here how the bolt has gone into the plastic and locked itself in. All right. Now you can go ahead and mount the rod holder onto the stud here. Put your wing nut and then adjust this like you normally would for your rod. Okay, and there you got it. Now this is specific to the Scotty mount. Okay, I do have a version for a no-name Chinese rod holder setup, which is this one, and I have this file included with this file available. I don't know if it's a Brocraft, but it's got these serrations on here. But anyway, I'll show both of these on the kayak so you can see how it looks like. And it's very simple. These are really cheap, so I think they're like a little bit over $3, and you pick them up at Walmart. So you can make these all day. All right, hope that helps you out.